Welcome to the Deconstructionist Deep Dive, the show that doesn't just accept the story.
We break it.
We examine the
And
pieces.
expose the machinery inside.
Let's dive in.
What if the idea of a sacred contract, the notion that you secretly chose all your suffering, isn't just wrong, but is, in fact, a carefully constructed control mechanism?
That's the electrifying question we're plunging into today. We're taking a really deep, critical look at a concept that has, well, truly permeated popular spiritual thought. The sacred contract. This is the belief, as it's often presented, that before you even arrived in this life, you made some kind of pre-life agreement determining everything.
Everything. Your relationships, your challenges.
Even the way you die, supposedly.
And our mission today isn't just to, observe this idea. It's to dissect it, along with several deeply connected spiritual concepts.
Right.
We aim to expose them not merely as abstract beliefs, but as potential control mechanisms that subtly shape our understanding of reality and our place within it.
So this deep dive is about a critical, logical examination, taking apart these widely accepted spiritual narratives, revealing their underlying structures.
And empowering you, our listener, to discern truth from what might just be very clever deception.
Okay, let's start the deconstruction, beginning with the cornerstone, the sacred contract itself, and its close cousin, the karmic wheel.
Ah, yes, the karmic wheel.
For those maybe less familiar, the karmic wheel suggests this cosmic system of justice where suffering is somehow earned and repaid across lifetimes.
It's just the universe's balance sheet, right?
Pretty much. But what we've uncovered in the source material is, well, fascinating. It argues that this isn't some liberating truth at all.
No.
Instead, it's labeled divine Calvinism, a preordained destiny, just repackaged with the appealing language of choice.
Divine Calvinism.
That's punchy.
Think about it. The idea that you chose your poverty, your cancer, your abusive parents, the insights from this deep dive call this profound spiritual gaslighting.
Wow.
Because it tells you that you are complicit, even an architect of your own suffering.
And the implications of that are chilling, aren't they? If you chose your suffering, if your hardships are part of some divine plan, what does that do to our collective will for change?
Exactly. The material we examined claims this idea fundamentally absolves massive systems of power, things like patriarchy, capital, even the state of all blame.
Why protest an unjust world when every victim, every person enduring hardship, secretly chose their victimhood in some cosmic waiting room before they were born?
It's an incredibly convenient narrative for those who benefit from the status quo. It just lets everything off the hook.
It really does. And what's striking here is how this belief connects to the very heart of how power operates. You mentioned Foucault earlier.
Right. It feels like the ultimate internalization of discipline. For those familiar with Foucault's concept of biopower, he described how power works by subtly shaping our internal self-regulation, making us police ourselves. The source suggests that with the sacred contract, that external control mechanism, like Foucault's panopticon, that all-seeing observer becomes internalized.
So it's inside you now.
It's judging you from within your own soul for failing a test you don't even remember taking.
That's a powerful connection. And speaking of internal contradictions, it also raises questions within other spiritual traditions, like, for those familiar with Buddhist sunyata.
Yes, the idea of a stable, continuous soul making these ironclad contracts across millennia just doesn't compute.
It clashes fundamentally.
Precisely. The doctrine of anatta, or no self, fundamentally suggests there's no singular, unchanging entity, no eternal CEO of You, Inc., to sign such a contract in the first place. It challenges the very premise.
So the foundation is shaky from that perspective, too.
And if we compare this system to, say, Stoic philosophy, which believed in a rational, benevolent universe guided by providence, our source paints a very different picture.
How so?
This sacred contract system isn't portrayed as rational or benevolent at all. It's described as absurd and cruel, run by what the source rather humorously calls a feckless HR department, overseeing a soul-crushing bureaucracy of karmic debt collection. It starkly contrasts with any notion of a truly just or compassionate cosmic order.
A feckless HR department for the soul. That's definitely a memorable image. Let's move on to our next target, the three-tiered afterlife, and the idea of vibrational segregation.
Right, the astral hierarchy.
This concept describes a hierarchical setup lower, middle, and upper astral planes, where it's claimed souls are segregated based on their energetic or, vibrational frequency.
And what's particularly insightful in the material we've explored is its critical analysis of this concept. It views it as nothing more than Catholic eschatology with a theosophical paint job.
Just old wine in new bottles.
Essentially, yes. Hell, purgatory, and heaven just rebranded with New Age terminology. Same structure, different names.
And the social implications are, frankly, insidious. The idea that your vibration segregates you is labeled spiritual eugenics.
Strong words.
Yeah, because it provides a cosmic justification for existing hierarchies, allowing the privileged to view themselves as high vibe and the suffering as low vibe, thereby implicitly deserving their plight.
It's a remarkably convenient metaphysics for the already comfortable, isn't it? Validates their position.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It truly is. This raises an important question. If we connect this to the ancient Cynic philosopher Diogenes of Sinope,
The guy in the tub.
that's the one. He famously scorned all superficial social conventions and empty intellectual concepts. He'd likely see this vibrational frequency as just another meaningless construct.
Oh, almost certainly. He lived in the mud and the mess of reality, not some ethereal, stratified realm where one could ascend by virtue of their vibe. He'd probably find it laughable.
Then there's the Taoist perspective, the concept of Wu Wei.
Effortless action. Alignment.
Exactly. It emphasizes effortless action and alignment with the natural flow of the universe, the Tao. The frantic effort to raise your vibration to access a better afterlife is presented in our sources as the exact opposite of that.
It's presented as spiritual capitalism, a constant hustle for cosmic real estate, implying you have to earn your way to a better spiritual state through effort and striving.
Spiritual capitalism. I like that. Okay, our final core concept under the magnifying glass. The School of Earth and the associated "it's just a play" thesis.
Ah, the grand classroom narrative.
This frames our very planet as a unique institution for learning emotions and limitations, and life itself as an illusory, pre-scripted drama.
And our deep dive source material does not mince words here. It labels this a metaphysical silencing tactic.
Silencing. How?
By framing something as horrific as rape, genocide, or childhood leukemia as mere lessons in a grand school, it strips them of their horror. It effectively neutralizes any impetus to revolt or resist.
It takes the teeth out of outrage.
Completely. To tell a grieving mother that her child's suffering was just a play or a lesson is, as the research highlights, an act of intellectual violence. It's described as a pacifying opiate.
A mental anesthetic.
Exactly. Dulling our response to genuine suffering by making us believe it's all part of a grand, illusory design.
And the real-world impact on action is devastating. This viewpoint, as our source highlights, neutralizes any will to help or to fight injustice.
It's often described as the privileged musings of someone who has never truly suffered, allowing those in comfort to intellectualize away the discomfort of others' pain.
Why intervene if it's all part of a grand design or a chosen curriculum? It fosters passivity.
Precisely. It's a chilling thought. This reminds me of the work of Graeber and Wengrow in The Dawn of Everything.
Ah, yes. Fantastic book.
They meticulously demolish the idea of a single, linear, hierarchical path for human societies, showing how diverse and fluid historical developments truly were.
Right. They push back hard against that neat, stage-released view of history.
Exactly. And our sources apply that same logic to the spiritual concept, arguing that the notion of spiritual advancement as a linear progression from kindergarten to college is just the same oppressive teleology applied to the soul.
It imposes a structure that might not be there.
It's labeled ahistorical nonsense, seeking to impose a rigid, predefined order where none truly exists, and to adapt Emma Goldman's powerful sentiment.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
If your spiritual revolution requires me to accept the torture of children as a curriculum, your revolution is a fascist boarding school.
Wow. That's a stark challenge to this entire framework. That adaptation of Goldman's quote truly resonates.
That hits hard.
Now, let's go even deeper into the specific deceptions identified in the source material. We're moving into what we call the warhead, a methodical exposure of these spiritual lies, one by one.
All right, let's deploy it. First up, Deception 1, the consensual contract.
Okay.
This is classified in our sources as a combination of suppressed evidence and false causality. Why? Because the power here flows to all hierarchies. If you chose your oppression...
Your oppressor is just playing a role you assigned them.
Exactly. They're merely an actor you hired, absolved of responsibility.
And the cross-cultural proof is chillingly clear. You mentioned Calvinism, but this also mirrors the Hindi Brahminical justification of the caste system.
As the direct result of karma from a past life, yes. It's a tool of social control that ensures compliance.
From the perspective of individual freedom, this lie convinces the slave that they built their own chains. It's the ultimate psychological shackle.
Making you complicit in your own subjugation. Then we have deception too. The fairness of karma,
The idea that the universe is ultimately fair.
which is presented as a logical fallacy, specifically a variation of the just-world hypothesis. The idea that people generally get what they deserve.
And who does that benefit?
It empowers the wealthy, the healthy, the powerful. It allows them to view their privilege as a direct reward for past virtue, rather than acknowledging, systemic advantages or just plain luck.
Historically, this echoes the Puritan belief in predestination, where material wealth was often seen as a sign of God's favor.
Karma then becomes the Eastern export version of what we now call the prosperity gospel.
Interesting parallel.
The material indicates this belief ensures the sufferer blames themselves, not the system, pathologizing dissent as a failure to understand some cosmic immutable law.
Keeps people in their place. Okay, next.
Next is Deception 3, the Bureaucratic Afterlife. Our deep dive defines this as anthropomorphic projection.
Projecting human structures onto the divine, like cosmic middle management.
Exactly. It grants power to religious institutions that rely on complex, unverifiable cosmologies to maintain their authority and mediate your spiritual destiny.
You can see striking parallels in the ancient Egyptian weighing of the heart ceremony, or the medieval Catholic system of indulgences.
It's always about a transaction, a test, a judgment you must pass to move forward. The freedom lens here reveals a relentless spiritual anxiety.
You're never truly free.
Even after death, you are merely applying for a new visa, and only the experts can guide you through the process.
Stressful afterlife. What's number 4?
Deception 4, the non-interventionist guides. This is described as an absurdist theodicy. Now, a theodicy tries to reconcile suffering with a benevolent higher power.
Right. Explain why bad things happen.
Our sources argue this particular one is absurdist because it attempts to explain suffering in a way that, instead of providing comfort, leaves you feeling utterly alone with any higher power entirely indifferent.
So help isn't coming.
Basically, it's akin to the deist clockmaker god who builds the universe, sets it in motion, and then largely abandons it. It's a convenient, if cold, answer to the problem of evil.
And the impact on freedom.
Profound. You are utterly alone. The universe is a cold and indifferent machine, and any comfort you seek is merely a story you tell yourself to cope. No safety net.
Grim. Okay, number 5.
Deception 5, death as a choice, or the exit plan. This is labeled historical revisionism and victim blaming.
Uh-oh.
Its power lies in benefiting those who seek to explain away tragedy as inevitable and chosen, rather than confronting its reality or causes.
The sources forcefully push back against this, stating that the Holocaust was not a group exit plan, nor did a child starved by famine choose this hard path.
To suggest so is to actively spit on their graves. This lie, it's argued, annihilates empathy and justifies inaction in the face of immense suffering. It's deeply problematic.
Absolutely. Okay, number 6.
Deception 6, the illusory nature of suffering, or it's a play. Our analysis here identifies this as spiritual bypassing.
Using spiritual ideas to avoid dealing with real issues.
Exactly. A psychological mechanism where spiritual concepts are used to avoid or suppress unresolved emotional or developmental issues. Its power stems from the privilege needing to intellectualize away the discomfort of others' pain, creating detachment.
Cross-culturally, this mirrors the ancient Gnostic dismissal of the material world as inherently corrupt and unimportant.
Right. From a freedom lens, this is described as an anesthetic for the conscience. If suffering isn't real, why help? Why fight? Why truly care?
It's a doctrine of passive nihilism dressed up as enlightenment, effectively neutralizing compassion.
Precisely. Finally, Deception 7, the hands-on school of Earth.
The idea that we're here specifically to suffer and learn.
Our deep dive points out this creates a false dichotomy, presenting suffering as the only path to learning, and it directly empowers the system that requires your participation in suffering to continue functioning.
It strongly echoes the Protestant work ethic, doesn't it? Glorifying struggle and toil as inherently virtuous, even necessary.
It does. The source material argues it glorifies suffering as pedagogically necessary. It demands you accept the classroom's conditions rather than, as the deep dive provocatively puts it,
having the courage to burn the damn school down.
That's the implication.
Now, okay. And now, for the detonation, the rebellious synthesis of all we've discussed.
The core takeaway. The ultimate deception, according to the insights from this deep dive, is the very idea that the universe is a just meritocratic pedagogical system at all.
This is presented as the foundational lie. It's that desperate, almost childish need to see order in the chaos, meaning in the absurd, and a lesson in the torture of a child.
It is a profound refusal to stare into the abyss and accept a cold, perhaps uncaring reality.
And the purpose of this lie is starkly clear. It's designed to produce compliant souls who readily accept their designated role in this cosmic hierarchy.
Both in this life and in all the imagined future ones. It cultivates a sense of self-blame that neatly sidesteps any systemic critique.
So this deep dive isn't meant to be a comfort. It is a direct confrontation. It reveals a cage woven from fairy tales and fear.
It is the metaphysical justification for every inequality, every injustice, every moment of avoidable suffering that you see around you.
Your pain is not a lesson. Your death will not be reviewed by a council of elders. Your life is not a curriculum.
That's the counter-narrative.
Now, the real challenge for you, our listener, is to take this analysis and use it.
Smash the karmic wheel, tear up the sacred contract you never signed, reject the spiritual bureaucrats who claim to know the architecture of your soul.
The only true hell that exists is the one we build for each other here.
And the only salvation is our collective action against it, our furious, collective, unbounded rage against suffering and injustice.
Your mind.
Your fierce and questioning mind is the only thing they can't truly own unless you willingly give it to them by believing this seductive, soul-crushing nonsense.
And that's our deep dive for this week.
Remember, the most dangerous illusion is the one you don't know you're in.
But now you know. So here's our question for you. We've torn apart the sacred contract. Now the real question is, what is the one idea you've held on to that you're finally ready to put on the chopping block?
Let us know in the comments.
Question the narrative.
Deconstruct the dogma.
See the system.
We'll see you next time.
Stay skeptical.